my name is Kim. I'm here from Fingal Libraries today and I'm going to show you how to create this very simple Halloween bat branch. So the first main material you're going to need is obviously a nice branch to work with. Now I would suggest if you can pick up a branch when you're out for your walk or out in the garden, choose a branch that has lots of small twigs coming off it, okay? So this will give us lots of options to place our bats and our spiders on. The other materials we're going to need, I have a plastic cup to use as a template, a glue stick, scissors, pencil. I have a selection of coloured papers, so some black, white, yellow, orange, and also some brown recycled paper, so an old paper bag or something similar will do for that. I have some black twine and thread here. You can use black wool or whatever black thread you have at home is fine. And as an optional extra, you can have some stick-on eyes or stickers. Now you don't need those, we can use coloured paper to create those if you don't have them at home. So the first thing we're going to do is create a template for our bats. Now we're going to create a larger bat like that, and we're also going to create some of these little smaller bats to go on the branches at the back. I'm just using a plain sheet of white paper to create our bat template. So this is going to make it easier when we're cutting at our bats, so we don't have to draw the shape several times. We can just trace around our template. So we begin by just folding our A4 sheet of paper in half like that. So because we have our paper folded in half, obviously we're just going to draw half the bat out here. So I'm going to start, I'm using a marker for this, but obviously you guys can use your pencil if you want to be a little bit more careful with your lines. And we're going to give this guy very big wings. This is going to form our bigger bat. And then when we cut that out, we'll have our full bat ready to trace around. And for our second shape, this is going to form the little smaller bats that we're going to put in the background. So we're not going to put so much detail in this. We're just going to have an outline like that. So once we have our outline drawn, we're going to cut these shapes out. So we're going to cut through both sides of the paper all around the outline shape we've drawn. Now, so once we have our templates cut out, we're going to place them down on our black paper or card, and then you're just going to take your pencil and I want you just to trace all the way around each of the shapes. And now that we have our bat shapes traced out on our black card, we're going to cut these out. Now I would suggest that you create maybe 5 or 6 bats at least, because the more bats we have on the branch, the better it's going to look. Before we attach our bats to our branches, I'm just going to pop on these 2 little yellow stickers for bat eyes. And as I said earlier on, you don't necessarily have to have those stickers. You can use some of the orange or yellow paper that we pointed out earlier, or you can use your pencil just to draw in the eyes. And then to attach our bat, so this is the front of our bat here, I'm going to apply a good bit of glue. Now a glue stick is probably better for this. If you don't have a glue stick, you could use some sticky tape, but liquid glue will take a little while longer to attach the bat. Now I'm going to put a bigger bat to the front of the branch. Okay, so you're just going to press that on, and you can even kind of mold it at his body part a little bit around the branch just to help it attach. And then I'm going to pop the smaller one further back. So the reason we made different shapes is just to give the impression that these little bats are a little further away. next up we're going to create these little spiders. Now these are really cute little guys. You can use them to attach to the branch, or you could just make them as individual little decorations for Halloween either. So the materials we need for this are the recycled brown paper. We're going to use some of the black string, some glue, and your scissors. And I've used the little stickers for the eyes, but again you could use just a little piece of recycled paper or some googly eyes or whatever you have to hand at home. To begin with now, we're just going to tear a piece of, this is just an old recycled paper bag. Now you could use any paper. If you don't have brown paper, you could use a little piece of newspaper either. This is just to create the bulk for the spider's body. So I'm going to tear a piece out approximately the size of my hand. Once we have our piece of paper torn out, now we're just going to crunch this up, okay? So I want you to use your hands to roll it into a very tight little ball, okay? So this is going to just create the body of our spider. So I want to use your hands just to press it into shape, and you should have shaped something a little bit like that. We want to create this little kind of woven effect on the spider's body. So we're going to simply take our black string or wool or whatever you're using, and we're going to wrap it around the bulk or the body of the spider. So to create that effect, we're going to take the end of our string, and I'm just going to tie a little knot to keep it in place there, and then we're going to start wrapping the string or wool around the paper. So the idea is that we want to try and cover as much of the body as we can with our string. So I have pretty much covered the entire piece of paper there with the string, and I've cut the string and I've left a little length there. I want to keep some just to hang the spider by. And before I do that, obviously I'm going to just tie a little knot there just to keep it securely in place. To create the legs for our spider, I have cut 4 lengths of string, okay, and they're all pretty much the same length. Now each length is going to make 2 legs for the spider, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to tie a knot in the center like that, and we should have 4 legs on each side. Then we'll pull that tight, and when we spread them out, we've got 4 there and 4 there. And then simply what we do is we're going to take the knotted string and we're going to attach it at the bottom like that with some glue. And just to finish off the little spider, I've added these 2 little red stickers for eyes. And just also to mention, if you don't have any black thread or wool at home, you can use any other colour. If you have some of this twine, this could work quite well as also, or even any kind of strips of fabric. So just experiment with whatever materials you have at home, and even add some paint or some colour on top just to get the effect you like. So next I'm going to show you quickly how to create the full moon to go on the back of your branch. Now to create the circular shape that we want for the full moon, I'm just using a plastic cup to trace around. You could use a mug or a saucer or whatever you have to hand at home. And I'm just going to cut this shape out. To finish off our full moon, I have cut out some very tiny little bats from the leftover black paper. Now, if you don't want to cut those shapes out, they were similar to the smaller bats we cut out, except very tiny. You can just use your black marker, and you can simply add on the bat outline like that. So So here's a look at our finished bat branch. As you can see, I varied up the sizes of the bats, so that's quite effective. So the smaller ones are just to the back. I've also added a little orange paint to the branches, so if you have any paint or glitter at home that you would like to add to give your branch a little more detail. Also, just to say that you can work large scale on this, so if you have a very large branch, that would look really great filled with bats and spiders, and you could display that somewhere you have space, perhaps at your front door. Or if you have a very small space, you can just create little small branches and maybe suspend them from your ceiling or indoors somewhere. So I hope you enjoyed crafting with me today, and you have a happy and safe Halloween from Fingal Libraries.